Halo 3 to me is the perfect video game. I remember playing it for the first time on my Xbox 360. It was the first game that I touched on that console too, as I was gifted the bundle with this game, Gears of War 2 and Fable 3. And I gotta tell you, I instantly fell in love with this series. The art design, gameplay, story and multiplayer were all truly top notch and the peak of my gaming experience during 2012. This was Bungie's final send-off to the beloved trilogy, starting off at the fantastic cliffhanger of its second game, so they had massive shoes to fill for this game, as it was hyped with one theme, to finish the fight, and it delivered on that field, being one of the most fun, replayable sandbox style games I've ever played in my life, with a captivating, emotional story and hours worth of fun on the multiplayer thanks to Forge and custom games. This video will aim to prove why Halo 3 is truly the perfect game. Halo 3 pretty much starts off directly where the last game ended, following the story of the relentless struggle between three factions, the humans that are known as the UNSC, the Covenant, and the Flood, who are all seeking to attain the Halo rings for their ulterior motives. The UNSC aims to keep a hold of it and maintain it, protecting it from the Covenant, who aim to fire the rings since they believe that they'll be taken to a utopia once them rings are fired, as preached by the Prophet of Truth, who is the leader of the cult. So it's a desperate struggle for who reaches the rings first. The Flood are also a major factor within the war, but I'll get to that later. But the simple story is to take down the Covenant before they reach the ring. Visually, this game looks impressive and proves that video games don't need to have hyper-realistic and flashy visuals to be appealing and enjoyable to look at. In my opinion, the game's graphics still hold up. No matter how blocky some of the characters look at times, the set pieces in this game are absolutely jaw-dropping, with my favourites involving the huge massive scale fights within the background or even in front of you, just to express the fact that this is an all-out war between both factions. The scenery in the majority of these levels is truly jaw-dropping and so well done. Character arcs in Halo 3 are rounded up effortlessly. Let's start things off with the Master Chief. His emotions are expressed perfectly through these cutscenes, and the fact that we don't even know what he looks like or what sort of facial expression he's emitting behind the helmet is what makes him so unique. You can connect with him during these heartfelt moments. His determination and fearless attitude is also fucking badass. I think his character arc was conveyed perfectly, and his fate at the end of the game was left ambiguous. That's if you do the legendary ending. As his main purpose has been fulfilled, he reunites with Cortana, took down the Covenant with the help of the Arbiter, and eliminated the Flood, bringing peace to the world. Speaking of the Arbiter, he gets his revenge, slaying the Prophet of Truth after him and his entire clan were gaslit into believing this blind ideology.
I am truth, the voice of the Covenant.
So, you must be silenced.
He's the Chief's companion day in and day out, and I feel so betrayed by the fact that they have not reunited since this game. Sergeant Johnson's character arc is rounded up great here. He's been a phenomenal side character since the first game, and the true definition of what a soldier should be, someone who dedicates himself to the cause. But after the death of Miranda Keyes, he's a lot more sterner and more serious towards everyone, which leads to his demise against the Spark. His final message to the Chief is so hard hitting, as he understands just how connected Chief was to Cortana, truly a best friend who deserved to be sent out with a bang. The gameplay is similar to every other Halo game, with it being a sandbox shooter, giving the player so much freedom when it comes to picking and choosing what weapons they like. And hey, the dual wields are back too. Every single gun sounds punchy and has its use. For example, Covenant weapons are a lot more convenient for Covenant shield, whereas human weapons work better with the Flood. So they all have their purpose. The level designs are also phenomenal, with my favourite level being the Covenant. Did I mention that this all happens in one mission? And it's so fucking badass. That's just an example of how cool the gameplay and levels are. Of course, the ending of this fantastic game with the Warthog run, with the epic music in the background, is truly one of my favorite moments in gaming, hands down. Speaking of the music, every single track in this game is truly perfection and has never made me feel so patriotic for something that doesn't even exist. It's astounding.
What is it? More brutes? Worse.
Like Halo 1, the introduction of the Flood here is so menacing and horrific. You've just made your way towards truth on Earth, taking out a massive AA gun for the UNSC soldiers to progress, which certainly feels like an achievement. You must now backtrack from where you came from, playing the exact level but in reverse. The skybox is gloomy and the atmosphere is certainly eerie. The Flood has completely infected this portion of the world, resurrecting the dead bodies that you took out earlier to now be mindless husks of what they used to be. Since Halo 3 was my first Halo game, the introduction to the Flood here creeped me out to the highest degree, and the scale of their rampage on Earth is projected perfectly as the elites had to resort to glassing the entire continent off Earth just to get rid of them. I also wanted to touch on this chapter since it's so goddamn creepy and portrays the Flood as an unstoppable and menacing force to me. The backtracking is amazing and kind of reminds me of anomalous materials to unforeseen consequences in Half-Life 1, and how the comforting visuals that you were so used to just suddenly turn into a mess. Truly a nightmare. I have poured countless hours of my time straight into Halo 3's multiplayer. I remember using up my free 2-day Xbox Live codes that I got with certain games just to spend my time rinsing out the multiplayer. And with the help of Forge, custom games were a godsend. Thanks to the MCC collection implementing this, I can still have hours of fun on the custom games browser. However, I've noticed that the battle rifle and the sniper completely dominate the sandbox, which sort of renders the other weapons to be useless most of the time. In conclusion, I hope you enjoyed my love letter to Halo 3 and why I truly believe that it's perfect. Thank you all for watching.